I have an announcement to make. After her courageous speech at the Grammy Awards, where she made sure that everyone knew she was a great and virtuous person by saying that no one is legal on stolen land, I have decided to move in with Billie Eilish. I don't normally take my political advice from green-haired weirdos, but this seems like a good deal for both of us. It might take some compromise, mostly because I don't care for her music, so she's really going to have to keep that racket to a minimum. On the bright side, since she's gone through this whole androgynous phase, I have a feeling we might be able to share some closet space. Now, the Tongva people who claim that her house sits on their ancestral homeland might be a little upset since I'm also of European extraction, but really, it's like, who's illegal? We're all just people, man. We're all just living here, and I guess it doesn't matter who's living anywhere anyway. In short, the U-Haul is packed, and I'll be in California in no time. See you soon, Billie. I'm Tyler Chrestman. Welcome to the Chrestman Conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I have two topics that we're going to get into this week. We're going to be talking about the Grammy Awards, specifically Billie Eilish, and all the other annoying celebrities who chose to make a statement on ice and display their own ignorance. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the shooting of Alex Pretti in Minnesota. We didn't get to talk about it last week. I have a lot of thoughts. I I don't feel well, so I told you when I had to record on Sunday this last week, I wasn't feeling well. And guess what? I'm not better. It sucks. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm dying. It could be the case. It just, my friend actually said that, my friend Teeps, shout out, he said that I am the sickest, healthiest person he knows. And I think he's true. I think he's onto something because in February of last year, well, actually in January of last year, I got bronchitis. I don't know if you remember this. It was terrible. I got bronchitis and was basically sick from the end of January to the beginning of March, where I had bronchitis, COVID, and then the flu, like back to back to back, because I guess the bronchitis, when I talked to a doctor, the bronchitis basically, they said, yeah, it made you sick, and then you just were getting all these other things because you had bronchitis for like 6 weeks. And I said, oh, all right, well, that makes sense. Well, I don't know what the deal is now, but it's February again, so I guess it's time for me to get sick. I don't know if I have COVID or the flu, but I don't feel well. So it might be an abbreviated episode just because I don't feel great. But anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to soldier on, as it were, and get into it. Before we get into the first topic, though, our favorite comment from last week. I had a lot of great comments on last week's video. I really appreciate all the comments. There was a lot. I was surprised at how much feedback I got. I didn't think it was going to be a topic that would garner a lot of response, but it did. It really got some good ones. And my favorite one was from Roses 6326. It's actually a long comment. It's actually a long comment, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to summarize it here. Basically, the video I made last week was making a contention that people don't engage with art as much as they used to, and why this is detrimental. And conservatives in particular don't engage with art like they used to. Roses basically said that his critique was that he didn't think my premise was valid, and that most people throughout history didn't actually engage with art. Most people throughout history were peasants, and they didn't engage with art. They basically just toiled. And it's a incredibly valid critique. And I would say that I guess I wasn't talking about the average person. And the correction would be that there was a class of people, and today they used to be called the aristocracy. Now we'll call them the quote-unquote elites. And it used to be that the people who were on the conservative bend of the aristocracy engaged with the arts. They thought art was important. To be a well-rounded person, they engaged with art on a regular basis. And so the people who made the culture, the aristocracy or the elites, I like to put that in quotes, they're not better than anyone else, but the elites, the tastemakers, used to be more engaged with art. And so they used to guide the conservative movement from a place that also appreciated art, even if the average person in the past was toiling in the fields. And so when I say that conservative has gone away, I really mean that upper echelon, the aristocracy, as it were, has gone away and abandoned the arts and left them to the left, and now we don't own any bit of the culture. It is a completely valid point. We don't have a modern Chesterton because no one is that well-rounded. Nobody is going to be the next Chesterton if you don't engage with art. I love the comment. I think the critique is very valid, and I'm glad to clarify the point. Thank you again, Roses. Anyway, and thank you for everyone who commented on that. I got a lot of really good feedback on that video. I appreciate that. Topic 1. What the hell is stolen land? Did anyone watch the Grammys, first of all? Is it just me who doesn't watch the Grammys, or does nobody watch the Grammys? I don't even know half of the people up there. It's ridiculous. Who cares about the Grammys? I don't feel like anyone does. I like the Oscars. I still do. Maybe because I'm more of a film guy than a music guy. I love music. I listen to a lot of music. But I don't like new music very much. A lot of the pop. I'm not a pop music person. So I feel like a lot of the Grammys is just celebrating pop music, and I don't really love pop music, modern pop music. I get down with the Smiths. I like pop music. I just don't necessarily like girl pop Billie. I don't like Billie Eilish or Beyonce or any of that kind of stuff. It's not my thing. Anyway, so the Grammys comes around, and you get all these musicians out here. And celebrities are so annoying because they want to use their platform to protest things, and they don't understand things. So you see a bunch of people show up with these little ice out pins, and which is, basically saying I should get out is what the thing is. So you have all these celebrities who show up to the Grammys. They're wearing these ice out pins. You saw the same thing in the Golden Globes with the Renee Good. They said be good pins or whatever they were, some stupid thing Mark Ruffalo was wearing. Well, in the Grammys, you get the Biebers, Justin and Haley. They show up with their ice out pins, and Kalani, I believe is how she says her name. I actually like her music. She's got some good stuff. She shows up with this little ice out pin. And Billie Eilish, all these people who want to do this faux activism. Bill Maher actually did a great takedown on his show the other day of this sort of performative activism, pin activism. Oh, we wear a ribbon, it fixes everything. He did a great takedown. I'm not going to do any better than that. Go watch that. It was amazing. So people don't care what celebrities have to say. Most of the people view celebrities and don't think they have anything particularly bright or insightful to offer them. Get up here, Winnie. Yeah, come up here. Quit yelling at me. Yeah. Okay. She's just going to sit down there and yell. Say hello. You got anything to say? No? Everyone say hi to Winnie. So they don't care. People don't care what celebrities have to say. Most of them are stunted, uneducated morons. It's just the fact. They don't. It's not. I wouldn't say the average celebrity is dumber than the average person, but they are stunted. And there's a thing, you basically stop growing at the age you get famous. I've heard that before. So a lot of these people, they're not in touch with the regular folk, as it were. I gotta quit saying as it were. What is that, like twice, 3 times I've said that in one day? Get out of that phrase. They don't have common cause with people. They are surrounded in this bubble with all the people who, again, I'm going to use that term, elite. They're the rich, they're famous, they don't understand what regular people want or have to go through. So they don't care. So Justin Bieber shows up with an iced out pin. That guy's never worked a job in his life. He doesn't understand anything that's going on in the world. He doesn't ever seem particularly bright. He seems like he's got a lot of personal issues, substance abuse, marriage problems. I don't know. I'm not judging him. I'm saying, why would I take my political advice from this person? First of all, he's Canadian. Okay, I'm not going to listen to a Canadian. But second of all, so stay out of my country, Justin Bieber. Go back to Canada. But furthermore, it just doesn't make any sense that I would listen to Justin Bieber for advice. Your life doesn't seem that in order. You can sing. He put out an album, his last couple albums. He's got some good songs. He's growing up. He's becoming more of a songwriter. That's cool. Great for him. But it doesn't mean I'm going to listen to you or you have something valuable to say. You wear your little ice out pin and you want to make a statement. I think celebrities like this do it wrong. I think you should strive to be Michael Jordan and stay out of politics. That's how you capitalize on being a celebrity. If you want to be performative, if you want to be political, that's fine. But be educated on the subject. I doubt I could sit down and have a conversation about immigration with Justin Bieber and he would have anything of value to say. He might surprise me. I could be totally wrong. But I doubt he's sitting around reading books on mass migration. And he doesn't have Douglas Murray back here on his bookshelf, The Strange Death of Europe, and understand the complexities of mass migration and the issues that it has on people. He doesn't get that. I would bet money that he doesn't. And so when you sit around and they wear these things, people just find it distasteful. It's like, who cares what they have to say? So there were 2 terrible examples The first one we're going to talk about is Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish won for a Grammy for the Song of the Year for this song Wildflower. I actually didn't know the song. I listened to it yesterday. It's terrible. I don't like it. It's bad. I don't. Also, excuse me. Also, it was released in 2024. I don't know how you win Song of the Year for 2025 when it's a song that was released in 2024, but whatever. Anyway, I want to just play the Billie Eilish clip from the Grammys. Here we go. Take a listen.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Flash to this person wearing this ridiculous feathered headdress. What is this supposed to be? Is this some sort of a Native American representation here? I have no idea who this person is. Anyway, continue.
And yeah, it's just really hard to know what to say and what to do right now. And I feel really hopeful in this room, and I feel like we just need to keep fighting and speaking up and protesting, and our voices really do matter, and the people matter, and I say sorry.
So there was a beep right there. She actually said F ice in that little beep.
Thank you. No one is.
Okay, so no one is illegal on stolen land. Idiotic for a number of reasons, which we'll go over. First of all, in the past 5 or 6 years, maybe a little longer than that now, the Democratic Party has gone over these land acknowledgments. So stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. It'll be like where I'm in my building, I'd look up in history that there was some native tribe who happened to live here, and I would go, I want to just first acknowledge that we are on the stolen land of the Ashpagash-Pekanasi people, and it's terrible. The white people are bad. Anyway, let's continue on with our event. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen because no one's doing anything about it, which seems so ridiculous to me and hypocritical. You're saying, you want to sit up there. We're the Pasadena City Council, and we want to sit up there and acknowledge that Pasadena sits on the ancestral land of some tribe or another. Give it back. So you're saying, here's the equivalent. I got this here, so I'm going to just pick it up. I steal this. I've stolen this from somebody. And I hold it up. And I say, I've stolen this embossing device. And I want to just acknowledge that I've taken it from the Indians. It's mine now. So you can't have it back. But I did steal it from you. So just so you know, it's mine. That's almost like taunting. It's like you're making fun of them or just saying, what a bully. What kind of bully mentality is that? I've stolen it from you. And then they're like, can we have it back? And you go, well, no, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I did steal it, but it's not yours. It's stupid. It's performative. It is almost offensive, really. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and get offended. Whew, I really don't feel good. I'm not going to sit here and get offended for Native Americans, but man, at the same time, I think it is. I think it is somewhat offensive to just say that. It's such a myth, this idea. We have this, at least a lot of people who are uneducated have this idea of the peaceful native, as though there was a bunch of Indian tribes that ran around living in harmony with nature and each other. They warred with each other. The land that you live on that was once belonged to an Indian tribe probably belonged to another Indian tribe before that and another one before that. They fought wars of conquest as much as any white settlers. And we didn't steal the land. We conquered the land. And we didn't do that through force in as much as we did through a natural disease process that wiped out most of the Indian population. It's not as though we waged biological warfare. They got introduced to diseases. There's something as big as in the Northeast, something like 90% of all the Native Americans died off before Europeans had anything to do with going to war with them. They just died off of natural disease. They didn't have immunities to European diseases. We brought them to the New World, and the Indians died. It's not... We didn't just go in here and commit a genocide. They just died. And yes, a lot of things that the United States government did with the treatment of Indian tribes was terrible. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that America was conquered by the Indians. It wasn't. They just lived in tents and traveled around, and we made America what it is. So I'm not going to sit here and feel bad that Native Americans happen to have existed here before. That's fine. It's fine, and I think we should treat them well. But I'm not going to say we stole your land. No, we didn't. It's ours. We took it. I mean, we conquered it. It's not stolen. It's conquered. So it's important. Billie Eilish is a hypocrite because, as I said, she's not offering to do anything about this. Her house, she has a $3 million mansion that apparently sits on the Tongva tribe indigenous territory. So the people have acknowledged this. The tribe has acknowledged this. Now, obviously, I think that's ridiculous. It's not stolen. Again, the word I use is conquered. But you could give your house up. I noticed that Billie Eilish has a giant wall and security around her property. But apparently we can't have a border wall. Apparently we can't judge who comes in and out of the country. Now, she gets to do it at her house because it doesn't affect her because she's worth millions of dollars. And, she has security around the guard. She had she had some stalker issues that she got full round-the-clock security, and she has a giant wall around her mansion. So it doesn't affect her. But I noticed that she's not opening her home up to any migrants. I've noticed that she didn't offer to donate this land back to the native tribe, that the stolen land that it sits on. So, again, she's a hypocrite. She's performative. It's nonsense. I get she's only a 24-year-old girl, but at the same time, 24 is old enough to not say something this stupid. You want to get up there, worth millions of dollars, winning your big award, and the most important thing that you can think to say is F ice. Oh, okay. Thanks for adding anything of value into the conversation. Thanks for all the millions of little girls who probably look up to Billie Eilish, being a role model. You don't have a thoughtful critique. You don't know anything. You don't know what to say. So all you can get up there is curse and say something ignorant and foolish and make yourself look like a hypocrite. I like this guy. I don't know who this person is, but I love this post. So on X, you saw this post from the Sinai law firm that says, for immediate release, the Sinai law firm is offering to evict Billie Eilish from her Los Angeles home on a pro bono basis on behalf of the Tongva tribe. Sinai law firm is the premier eviction firm in the country. It goes on to say, Ellis's admission that she lives on stolen land gives the tribe a rightful action for possession as the true owner of the property. This 30-day notice is already written and waiting to be served. Now, the guy went on to say he's being sarcastic, but he has the same opinion I do, apparently, that this performative nonsense doesn't help anybody. It just makes you look foolish and hypocritical, and I think it's hilarious. So he went on to say something which I thought was great. Quote, both Santa Monica and the West Hollywood City Council meetings each start with land acknowledgments that they are sitting on stolen land. We have county supervisors reciting those lines too. It's both empty virtue signaling and used as a weapon at the same time. It's empty because no elected official is giving the land back to the Tongva, just like Billie Eilish is not going to get evicted, nor will she give her house back. It's used as a political weapon to attack things one side doesn't like in both local, international politics, and worse, justifying political violence. No land is stolen, just taken. I don't make the rules. That's the way history works. Perfect take. 100% right. Again, I don't know who this guy is at the Sinai law firm, but 100% right. That's exactly my opinion. No land is stolen. It's just taken or conquered, which is the word I would use. The Europeans made America what it is. That's just the way it is. America wouldn't look like this if Europeans hadn't colonized it and made it into this great country that it is now. And no native tribe wrote the Declaration of Independence. No native tribe wrote the Constitution. No native tribe gave us the greatest framework for government and human freedom that has ever existed. It was Europeans who did that, and that's great. It's fine. Again, I don't wish anyone anything bad, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I did something immoral by living my life on land that was conquered by my forebears. It's just not, it's silly. So the other one, this other guy who came out, I want to say something about at the Grammys, Bad Bunny. I don't care for this person. He seems like a moron as well. He doesn't have anything of value to say. I don't understand why he's popular. He's a man who wears dresses. I have nothing nice to say about Bad Bunny. He came out after winning Best Musica Urbana Album, whatever the hell that means, and he said, quote, he said, we're not savages. We're not animals. We're not, is that French? It sounds more French. We're not aliens. We are humans, and we are Americans. No, you're not. That's the problem. It's kind of a problem. See, Puerto Rico is actually part of America. It shouldn't be. I think we should give it up. Give them their independence. It's not doing much for us at this point. I've been to San Juan. It's fine. Fine place to visit. But you know what? It isn't America. Get rid of it. We don't need it. All of that talk. Bad Bunny, yes, you happen to be an American citizen. Congratulations, you were born into luxury. That's the ability to own an American passport is a privilege. But we're actually upset at the people who aren't Americans. We're not upset at the Puerto Ricans who come from Puerto Rico to America. We're upset about the people who sneak across the border illegally and then stay. We're upset about the criminals who use the border as a smuggling port of entry for drugs into the country and human trafficking into the country. We're upset about those people. We're upset about the people who are here, who are not American citizens, who commit crimes in the United States. ICE going after child rapists and murderers and people who commit robbery, who are in this country illegally committing a crime already, and also then go on to commit further acts of violence. We're upset at those people. It's not that people who immigrate are savages or animals. That's not the problem. The problem is some of the people who do that are animals, and we don't want those people in this country. And the other problem is you have a right as a country to have a border, and you don't have a right to violate the sovereignty of a country by coming across the border illegally. It has nothing to do with you don't have a human right to just enter and exit a country at your whim, at your leisure. You don't have that right. So, again, Bad Bunny, I don't have anything nice to say about this guy. I don't like his music. I don't like him. He seems like kind of a guy I wouldn't enjoy. And also, Puerto Rico. Not very high on my list recently. So anyway. But he's going to be performing at the Super Bowl, by the way. And he's just going to do something stupid. I don't know why you would get this, a faux activist out there. He's going to come into the Super Bowl. He's going to wear a dress and call himself provocative. Okay, wow. How edgy of you to be a man who wants to shop in the women's section. Why don't you grow up? I don't get it. It's not me. Listen, again, all of this stuff, sometimes I say things, and it amazes me because I think of myself 10 years ago, and I never would have said something like that. And I think, does it sound hateful? Because it's not. Because what I think is weird is that my whole life, I've never had an issue with gay people. Like one of my favorite people in the world was my Uncle Michael. He was gay. And he died, unfortunately. But he was one of my favorite people. And so I grew up with this person whom I loved and I cared about. And I've never understood why people didn't or had issues or judge people who were gay. It's never been a problem for me. What I can't stand now is this performative queerness that just goes around. Bad Bunny is straight. He's straight. He likes women. But now he just does this thing where he wears a dress or Harry Styles. He'll wear a skirt and he'll be like, look at me. I'm provocative. I'm embracing my queerness. No, you're just being weird. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It's nothing to say about yourself as a person. You've just decided to be provocative to get attention. And I don't care for that. This performative queerness, that's just something I don't like. Just be who you want to be. I doubt that deep down Bad Bunny is just like, yeah, I really just want to wear dresses because. I don't think so. It just comes across as performative and strange. Anyway. Whew, I feel like I'm a little off kilter, so apologies. Again, I'm not feeling great, but we're soldiering on. Let's get on. I just want to do real quick this topic 2, this Alex Pretti shooting. There were so many wrong takes here. It is atrocious. It bothered me to no extent to see the way that the Trump administration has handled this shooting. And I want to talk about the shooting. So I'm not going to show the video. I don't like showing those kind of videos on here. But I want to talk, basically, this guy got into a scuffle with ICE. They were going after some woman. He kind of got in between them, and there's a scuffle. There's a wrestling match. Ultimately, he's shot by, it looked like 2 ICE officers. So He has a gun during this incident. He had a gun in a holster in his waistband. It appears that he is disarmed when he is shot. One of the officers appears to have captured his firearm and walked off with it. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but judging from what I've seen, he has a gun. One of the officers sees the gun. They remove the gun. He then appears to, again, this is a preliminary, we don't know 100%. He appears to reach for the gun, either not knowing it's gone or maybe just makes a motion towards the holster. He is then shot by two officers who, again, it appears don't realize he has been disarmed. So it is a confusing situation where he's clearly resisting arrest. He had a weapon. The officers know he had a weapon, and he is shot because of it. Now, the Trump administration came out here, and you had some people I respect, like Kash Patel, who made asinine statements. They said the wrong thing. The wrong thing to say is that he was killed because he had a gun, or because he had a gun and he showed up to this protest, he was there as a terrorist, or he did something wrong, or whatever the case may be. This is a nonsense garbage take, and I was really upset to see people in the Trump administration have this opinion. This is not the right thing. The Second Amendment does not mean that, the Second Amendment protects the right to the right to have a gun. The First Amendment right protects the right to protest. So you're allowed to have a gun. You're allowed to walk around with a gun. You're allowed to carry a gun. Now, certain states have certain rules about whether or not you can conceal carry with a permit or without a permit, or if you need to go to a class, whatever the case may be. But you're allowed to own a gun. You're allowed to walk around with a gun. You're allowed to conceal carry a gun in most places, provided that you have the right permitting system. And I actually don't know what the permit system is in Minnesota, but from what I've seen, he was legally allowed to have that gun. So Alex Pretti is legally allowed to own a firearm. He's allowed to protest and carry a firearm. He's allowed to go there and carry a firearm and participate in protest. Here's the thing you're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to obstruct law enforcement or resist arrest from federal law enforcement officials. You're not allowed to do these things. And doing so while you are in possession of a weapon, even one you are legally allowed to own, means that your risk for getting shot to death by the police has gone up tenfold, 20-fold, 50-fold. Right now, as I sit here in my apartment, my odds of being killed by federal law enforcement, I'm going to put practically zero. Now, I'm not going to say zero. You never know. A bullet could ricochet off of a building by and come over here and kill me, I guess. Or someone could kick down my door and shoot me to death. I think that the odds are relatively slim. Now, I go to a protest. Or maybe I want to go obstruct the ICE officials myself. I want to get out there like Renee Good and Alex Pretti and commit obstruction of federal law enforcement operations. I think my odds of getting shot by the police are going to go up substantially. Now, I don't think they're going to be great. I don't think the odds of people interacting with law enforcement means that they're going to get shot to death. Most people don't. We have hundreds of millions of interactions with law enforcement a year. About 1,000 people are killed by the police every single year. So you have federal enforcement. Even if I go and obstruct them, I don't think my odds of getting shot to death are that high. And we know that because we've seen people obstructing law enforcement in Minnesota. We haven't seen too many people die compared to the amount of people out there in the streets with their stupid whistles and their stop ice and all this nonsense. So Alex Pretti, so I go to a protest. Okay, my odds go up. Maybe a little. What are we going to put it at? Less than 1% still of people who are going to go to a protest are going to get shot by the police. Now I carry a weapon. I'm legally allowed to have the weapon. But I go to the protest. I commit obstruction. What do you think my odds are? You think they're going up? I think they're going up. I don't know where they go, but they're going up. And now I'm fighting with the police. And the police, every time, here's the thing you don't understand about fighting with the police, or many people may not understand. Every time that you choose to wrestle or fight with a police officer, you are fighting to the death. You may not realize that, but you are. Because from an officer's point of view, they are not allowed to lose that encounter. You know why? Because they have a weapon that can be used to commit murder on their hip. So they can't lose the fight to you. Because if they lose the fight to you, then you own the gun, which means that you can kill them. So every time you get into a fight with law enforcement, You are fighting to the death, and you don't realize it, which is why you shouldn't fight with the police. It doesn't even matter if you're 100% right. You don't fight with the police because it's a good way to get yourself killed, which is why all these ridiculous shooting narratives fall apart the second you look at it. Because the second I see people resisting the police, I say, oh, well, the police, they killed you because you were resisting. That's why. Because it's a fight to the death, and you don't understand that. And so you look at Alex Pretti. He's fighting with the police. He has a weapon. The police may not know he has a weapon. It seems like they were aware that he had a weapon. Maybe they weren't aware he was disarmed. I don't think they would just shoot him to death if they didn't believe him to have a weapon. I'm not going to say that's 100% accurate. I just don't believe that they would have done that. He fought with law enforcement, and he got killed. I don't feel bad for him. He made a terrible life choice. You don't want him to die. I don't want people to get shot by the police. But you shouldn't be fighting with federal law enforcement officials. And we know the kind of person he is because of this video. This is Alex Pretti like a week before he was killed doing this.
It's a federal immigration agent's car.
All right, we don't want to listen to the audio here. So you see him is spitting on this car. He kicks out the taillight of the car. Immigration officials get out. They wrestle him down. They put him to the ground. Again, he's resisting. Takes a couple of them to get him to the ground. Again, he's wrestling with them, spitting on them. He escapes. You can see maybe he has the gun in his back. It's hard to tell. Video's a little blurry. But he's spitting on cops. He damaged their car. That's it. So, was he out there to just peaceably protest? No, obviously not. He was committing violence the week before against officers. He was fighting with cops. He damaged their car, spitting on them, which is a form of assault. So, this is not a justification. But also, don't do things like this and you won't get shot. It's really not hard. I don't understand. All these people were upset because he's killed. Have you ever considered maybe just not trying to obstruct federal law enforcement? Oh, you don't like the ICE raids. Okay. Do you think that means that you don't want someone to get arrested? Okay. Do you think that means you can just say no? You can go out there and just tell the police, no, actually, I don't think you're going to arrest him today. It's not what it's meant by protest. And the fact that this guy, people are going to jump on this. Like, if you're a Second Amendment defender, you should be defending Alex Pretti. No, I carry a gun. I carry a gun almost every day of my life. I think it's a responsibility. I think that men should be trained in defending themselves in firearms and fighting. I think that that's a responsibility of men to be protectors. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he was wrong for carrying a weapon. No. You're not even wrong for showing up at a protest for a weapon. No. But the second that you start fighting with law enforcement officials and you have a weapon, it's not, you shouldn't be killed because of it, but you have to realize that fighting with the police and being in possession of a firearm means that you are so much more likely to get killed. Again, not because you're not allowed to have it. I'm allowed to have it. I don't make it a habit of going to fight the police. If I was going to go fight the police, I certainly wouldn't carry a gun because it's a good way to get shot to death or be forced to kill them, which also you don't want to do. So, again, terrible, terrible takes all around. I think that the Trump administration has done a better job in the last week of getting the messaging right. But you don't jump to, this guy's a terrorist. He was obviously out there to kill people. He had a gun. No. No. That's bad. That's Democratic messaging. The Republicans should stay far away from that. The conservative side, the Trump administration, stay far away from those arguments because they're bad arguments. We don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear that someone carrying a gun's a bad guy. I carry a gun. I'm not a bad guy. I don't use my gun for bad things. Alex Pretti also didn't use his gun for bad things. He was a fool for carrying the gun into a violent encounter with the police. That was a foolish thing to do, but he didn't get killed because of that. He got killed because he was fighting with the police, which also you don't do. It's a bad thing. Don't fight with the police. Step number one, if you don't want to get killed by the police, don't fight with the police. It's the easiest step, and people fail it. Renee Good failed it, trying to not follow the instructions of the police. Alex Pretti failed it. Any controversial thing that you can think of in the last 15 years we've been listening to this, any of them you can think of. Well, where did it start? Almost all of them started with he was fighting with the police. He wouldn't listen to the police orders. You're not allowed to do that. You can't just decide not to. Okay. Woo, man, my voice doesn't feel good. All right, we're going to leave it there for the day. appreciate all of you for suffering through this with me. I know I was coughing. I know my brain's probably not working 100%. But, even at 85, it's still pretty decent brain, I think. So it'll be fine. Anyway, I appreciate all the comments from last week, and leave any questions, comments, concerns on this video. And maybe if you're lucky, you can wind up like Roses, whatever the numbers were that followed that, and be shouted out on the show. Anyway, hope you guys have a great week. I'll catch you next Friday.